I'm not going to beat around the bush here. I've got some beef with how I think NASCAR and the networks aren't doing a good job with emphasizing the uniqueness and importance of winning a race. Now, for the sake of points in the championship, obviously there's more importance placed on winning now, with an obvious incentive of going to the playoffs. But I think all of the importance of the win is now focused on that storyline, and not the fact that you won a race and, hey, that's a good thing, that's good, that's something to celebrate on its own. And ultimately, unless it's in like the last round of the playoffs, it doesn't really matter. If you're banking on getting a race win to get you into the playoffs to win the championship, you weren't a real contender for the title anyway. Like, if you sneak in as one of the drivers in the 15th or 16th place in the points, you're going to win the whole thing. And it was nice to see Eric Almirola and Michael McDowell win races in 2021, but no offense to them, there was no way they were going to make noise in the playoffs. Now, I get it, it's still important to say that you made the playoffs. It's probably good on the sponsorship side, but it's still kind of bogus. If winning a race meant that much to the team and that it came as a surprise, that meant you weren't up front week in and week out. The reaction to Kyle Larson or Chase Elliott winning a race shouldn't be that, "Oh, wow, they're locked in the playoffs now." Yeah, we all know they're going to be there. It's not really breaking news. So for most of the season, you've either got, yeah, you won, but we all knew you were making it, or, yeah, you won, you're in, both, let's be real, you're not making it to Phoenix without a lot of help. So the whole point of winning a race now is, hey, you're locked in, you made it, when it seems like there needs to be some importance of acknowledging the victory at hand. Michael McDowell winning the Daytona 500 didn't seem all that special. Now, part of that was that the race ended at like 3 in the morning, but what was different post-race in Daytona than any other race on the schedule? Yep, this is all circling back to my least favorite new idea, NASCAR, the front stretch interview. Now, on paper it sounds pretty cool, the driver celebrating right in front of and with the fans, but in practice there's nothing really interesting about them. It's the same thing over and over. The driver gets out of the car, half the time they go get the checkered flag, then come back to the car for the camera and the interviewer. Wow, this is great. How about those fans? I love you guys. Yeah, we had a great car. Can't thank my sponsors enough. Wow, yeah, I guess we're in the playoffs. Okay, back to you. There's nothing special about that anymore. And really, if you crop out most of the picture here, it's just the same interview over and over. The location changes, but you wouldn't really know it. Unless it's a real small track, the driver's just by himself out there, kind of drains the energy out of a moment. And when you celebrate by the fence with anyone who buys a general admission ticket for some of the lighter attended races, you get potential problems. But yeah, that's it. The driver climbs back in alone, and we don't see the big reveal in a crowd of adornment. You don't get to see any of the celebration with the crew, with family, with friends, with the sponsors, etc. All the things that happen in Victory Lane. Ruoff Victory Lane. Now, how weird is that? They make a point during the broadcast of talking about the Ruoff Victory Lane, and they don't even show it. Now, listen, I get having things visible for fans. Having the driver win the race and then retreat to a victory lane that's, somewhere hidden inside the infield might not be the best way to go, but there has to be a happy medium somewhere in between. Let the winners still do their thing. Kyle Larson can do his donuts with the wheel off, A.J. Allmendinger can lose his mind, and Noah Gragson can throw up in a wall. That's all cool. Don't tell anyone they have to drive straight to victory lane without spiking the football. So here's where my suggestions begin. First off, if victory lane isn't visible enough, literally just move it to the front stretch at every track. If it means going to commercial while the winner does a victory lap and they have to roll a flatbed out for a stage, that's fine. We can wait a couple of minutes. We watch the whole race. But that involves the networks kind of giving a darn. Right now the plan is to start the races mid or late afternoon and have them run right up against network programming immediately afterwards. So you get the race finished and have to bolt out of there to beat traffic. So there's your winner. Okay, bye. It's really a bad way to broadcast an event. Yeah, I know it feels like we're arguing with a brick wall on starting times, but it is what it is. They made this bed and they're sleeping in it. So we're making victory lane great again, I guess, but what about the rewards? What are they striving to get? What are the rewards? Look at the Indianapolis 500, a huge race, probably the greatest single race in the world. Sorry Daytona, sorry Monaco or whatever else, but it's true. You win the race and it feels like the world stops to salute you. You get to cruise around the track. You and your car get an elevator ride up onto a stage where you get a giant wreath put on you like a horse. You get the big milk drink or milk bath or whatever. You get your picture taken up there with the Borg Warner trophy. You kiss the bricks. That's a lot. That's awesome. Now, I'm not saying that every NASCAR race has to have all of the pomp and circumstance on that level, but every track should be trying something that makes it noteworthy, some kind of ceremony or special award or prize. We know about the grandfather clock at Martinsville. That's cool. It's front and center and a talking point, but isn't that it? Is there any other track and race that has anything special mentioned about what happens after the checkered flag? During the telecast, I mean. Not really. Which is a shame because it's not necessarily true that there's nothing special to offer. Bristol's winner gets a sword. New Hampshire, you get a lobster. Texas, you get to shoot off some guns. Sonoma, you get to drink the wine and spit it if you're Kyle Larson. But you never hear or see any of this anymore until long after the race has ended and the journalists or official websites are doing their post-race reports that night. So why not emphasize it more? Why not make it a bigger selling point to the audience and create something that allows the race to stand on its own outside of the Grand Championship scheme? In fact, every track should have something special, a selling point to the fan and the teams that it's a race worth winning, for a cool prize, cool trophy, or just a photo op. Now I get that some races have very sponsor-specific trophies, so you can't always have a track-specific offering. But I think there's a ton of room for creativity, especially if it can be worked into the broadcast. Or have tracks team up with each other for special titles. Like, say there's 2 races in California, Fontana and Sonoma, and Fontana comes first on the calendar. Offer some reward like the California Cup or something big and gaudy if a driver sweeps both races in the state, like some mythical trophy that gets paraded out to Sonoma just in case the Fontana winner pulls it off again. That's something to talk about. Do a bunch of those kinds of things around the schedule. I'm also going to suggest something that a lot of NASCAR fans aren't going to like. It's a very foreign and un-NASCAR-like ceremony, but I think they ought to have podiums at the road courses. Now, I know what you're thinking. Podiums with stock cars? That'll never happen. That's stupid. It'll never work. Yeah, it's for Formula One. It's open wheel, blah, 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 blah. Well, it has happened. I know because I saw it. The ARCA series did it a few times at a road course, and honestly, that was a lot of fun. Yeah, it's kind of obviously imitating open wheel traditions, but so what? If anything, I think it's a nod to those series, which they're already kind of doing there anyway. I mean, they're racing at tracks that were purpose-built for open wheel racing now, so why not? All I'm saying is, I think it's time to make post-race fun again. I don't know how much is the networks, how much is the headquarters in Daytona and Charlotte, but let's all put our minds together and try to better the sport out of this little lazy hole that it's fallen into.